All right, folks, welcome to hour number 2 of the Bob Tuskin radio show. Per usual, for the second hour of Fridays on the show, we are joined with none other than Scott from the Believers Underground. Scott, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, man, I'm doing, Bob, man. It's another good day in good old USA.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. And let me ask you something. Any space quakes today, Scott? Any action going on with the Earth's changes and that kind of thing?
Yeah, there is some action going on, and it's exactly where I stated it was going to start about 3 weeks ago. Basically, on the Phillipino plate, you've had 10 earthquakes now. The second one that's hit the west side of Japan. So it's starting to hit the other coast of Japan now, and it's starting to hit underneath, all the way going down to Taiwan. So we've had 10 quakes of 4.5 and greater. One as high as 6.3 on the west coast of Japan. But that one happened a couple days after they had the big one. But that whole island looks like it's getting chopped out from underneath it. That's not good.
Yeah, and that's on top of the very scary situation with the nuclear reactors there. As we talked about several weeks ago, we knew that there was a total meltdown with that, we know how dangerous that is.
Yeah, that's probably your German stuff, man. It's probably mutating on a subcellular level, man. These bacterias and stuff. Who knows what else
You're
it's
talking
doing.
about the E-coli?
Yeah, well, I have a report out of the World Health Organization that, N5H1 was being created in the birds off of the Fukushima nuclear power plant before it went meltdown.
Wow.
These birds, they get into these nuclear power plants. And any of these viruses can be mutated. This is nuclear stuff. It mutates DNA. And it's a wide open book. It could do it on germs. It could do it on flus. I mean, it's not good. What was interesting was Germany came out, the Chancellor of Germany, and they say they are not renewing any nuclear power plant certifications, and they're going to start shutting them all down. And that's the first G7 country to come out and make that statement. Now,
holy smokes.
So that's great news. Mm-hmm. We had these 3 nuclear reactors sitting here on the West Coast. They're not going to renew their permits either. Whether they can get all the nuclear stuff out of the way and stuff in time, whatever, I don't know. But it's a great first step. And then they came out over in Geneva, Switzerland, okay, the hub of the New World Order. And they stated, okay, you had the United Nations General Secretary come out and state that, they're going to have more meltdowns. It's a gimme. And with this Earth adjustment, it's a gimme, and they stated it point blank. Now they're stating that they want the world to phase out nuclear reactors. Mm-hmm. So, here we go.
Exactly.
Well, I knew it for 2 years, man. That stuff is burning a hole in our ozone. You got 3 nuclear power plants just burning a hole in that ozone, hardcore. 3 weeks after Fukushima went up, man, all of a sudden, we have a 40% whole increase in our ozone. And I knew it was nuclear stupid stuff that blew a hole in the ozone in the first place.
Yeah, exactly.
I've had that on videos way back.
You've been predicting a lot of this, Scott, and I appreciate all that you do. Hold that thought. We'll be right back in just a moment with more on the Bob Tuskin Show. All right, we will take phone calls with Scott from the Believers Underground. Dial us toll free at 866-841-1065. Get out a crayon, write this down. It's 866-841-1065. All right, Scott, let's jump right back into this.
Yeah, man, they're going to start shutting down the nukes, man. I mean, and you got nuclear fallout over everything. I could throw up map after map after map of nuclear fallout. And then somebody sent me over this thing from HAARP. You know, I guess it's a new website, whatever. And what was interesting was one of the organizations that was being involved with this thing, and it sent me over to the University of Alaska. And it had the postgraduate students that worked on HAARP from last year. They had a group picture. And I'm looking at it, and I'm going, hey, that's pretty cool, you know. Hey, look at all these 20th grade education, you know, kids, you know, because that's what you needed. You need a 20th grade education to apply to do a project there. Now, according to their stuff, this was put together by an act of Congress back in 1946. And what they're doing is they're looking, they've been monitoring the radioactive fallout around the planet through that thing, as well as other things. But I thought that was very interesting. But you know what? We need to really dig on this idolatry that's been taking place here in this country, man. And we'll get right into that, man, because we can't do nothing until we kick that piece of idol out of the way. You know, I put up a video about 3 days ago before my computer took a dump and I had to run around. This video, it was point blank, and I got to point blank everyone. This is idolatry, man. That piece of paper they gave life to back in 1917, that paper they gave life to, okay, mind you, life to, okay, that paper's made of wood. It's an idol made of wood they gave life to. And that's your incorporation. Every single incorporation out there is a idol, period. It's a piece of paper. It's an idol. And these mega money people hide behind this idol, and it's backed by nothing but legal fictions. And this isn't even a law. It's a statute and an act. It's all one huge mega lie, okay? From the legal fictions to the stats to the acts to this piece of paper they gave life to, it's all one big idolatry, man. And this idol, okay, has destroyed our planet. It hides everything from us. It's a big lie, man. A nation under an idol. A world under an idol. And, you know, somebody said, hey, Scott, you know, it said in the Bible that, you know, that story of the talent. And goes, you know, if you're not going to do anything with your talent, give it to the bank. So, you know, at least when the father returns, you get interest. Well, these are not banks, okay? They were brainwashing you from a baby. You know, have you ever had a piggy bank? You know,
yeah, of course.
Yeah, and you know, you put the coins in it. Okay, man, it was in our face. Idolatry, hardcore, in our face, man. Yep, just go ahead and put that money into that idol. Okay, and that's what it is. You're putting your money into an idol. It's a piece of paper they gave life to. It's not Wells Fargo. It's Mr. Wells Fargo. It's a piece of paper. And all those CEOs and all these other bumps that are doing nothing but insider information hardcore, because I know they're doing it with the climate. They're running the ICCP and the CCSP over here. You know, it's a big con. You know, that's why I'm sitting here predicting earthquakes, predicting the volcanoes, predicting the superstorms. Man, I could tell you what's happening with this planet. Man, we're in post-glacial rebound effect, isotonic adjustment. Man, we got hundreds of trillions of tons of water going into this ocean, and it's sinking the ocean floor. We're screwed. And it's messing up the ocean currents. Man, when Obama signed into this thing on February 4th, and man, Parliament was pissed up there in Canada. They basically usurped all our Constitution stuff. It's thrown in the garbage. They backdoored that whole thing through money. And it's all idols, man. All those candidates were backed by idols, and nothing but idols surround that entire White House over there, man. You got banks represented all around the White House, and then you got nothing but lobbyists, lawyers, all around on the other side. And those are your idols and your legal fictions, okay? They serve idols. The lawyers are the priest of these idolatry gods, okay? Because that's what they are. They're a demagogue. When they give something life that doesn't have life, it's a demagogue, okay? So this whole United States is being run and controlled by idols, man. And man, we got to get rid of that stuff. You know, even George Washington warned us about that stuff, man. You don't let the banks get involved in our business. And now that these lords, these kings, threw their crown down to this idol for greed, okay, because that's all this idol is. It's an idol for greed. It's the money changers, the one that Christ tossed their stupid, stinking tables. You know, man, it's just hardcore idolatry. And we're in major spiritual warfare. We're in the third generation of this, and they were brainwashing us when we were kids with the game Monopoly. You know, I mean, Monopoly, yeah, get the most money, you know, it's just the money of the game of greed. And they just been pounding it in our heads. We're third generation idolatry right now. And we wonder why our whole planet's destroyed, and they're doing whatever they want to do whenever they want to do it, like this Fukushima dude. You know, he just goes and hides as you got 3 plants in full meltdown, burning 3,500,000 degrees right through our ozone, and he runs and hides. And they still haven't done nothing about it. It's still burning out of control. And they have no intentions of doing anything about it. I mean, if they did, the international community would be in there, and they would be taking care of business. And they're not. You know, they sent these 2 big trucks over there from the U.S. That was a show, because they never showed up. And they sent those things over 3 weeks ago. You know, so it's just one game after another, you know. I was watching this, one of my friends' YouTube channels. I warned him 5 months ago that, hey, man, you know, Japan's is going to get hit, man. It's going to get hit. It's going to sink. And you know, he saw my research. He looked through it. And he was tripping on it, but he couldn't believe it. But he went ahead and started telling some people, and you know, but he came back to me and said, hey, man, you know, they got too much pride. They don't want to, you know, move on the information. And sure enough, bam, it gets hit, man. And it's still getting hit.
Wow.
Still getting hit and still getting hit. And now he's become an activist. He's over there as an activist, totally involved. And these people are sucking tents that are torn up. Okay, they're living in their cars. They're getting food, old food, from these warehouses that just dumped old food on them. It's just like Haiti, you know.
Sure.
They're eating dirt cookies.
We talked about that last hour with Jack Blood a little bit. Scott, hold that thought. We'll pick it up in just a moment. More from Scott of the Believers Underground on the Bob Tuskin Show. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Okay, we are going to take some calls at some point with Scott from the Believers Underground. So if you have any questions or comments for him, the phone number, 866-841-1065. That's how you can join us. Again, 866-841-1065. And Scott, I'll let you pick it right back up where we left off. There really is a food world order out there to steal James Evan Pilato's website's domain name, Food World Order, and they use food to control us. And one of the ways you can control our food is by changing the weather and that kind of thing, and not telling us about